All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are here live in full effect, right here with the one and only. We got Detroit's finest legendary DJ. We got DJ Butter live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good.
I'm doing pretty good, man, down here in Canada, man. I gotta ask, man. I'm sorry, I just gotta say first and foremost, man, thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I love the work that you did with D-12 back in the day. So I just gotta say thank you in advance for just giving us a little bit of your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But I want to take you back to the very beginning, man, and I gotta ask, like, what actually inspired and sparked the legendary career of DJ Butter? Like, what actually got you into music?
Well, actually, coming up, when I first heard like Curtis Blow, the breaks and Christmas rapping, coming up in the '80s, hearing that stuff, and in the household, it just kind of like it sparked something. And then when I seen Jam Master Jay and Run DMC and how he carried them lot, the whole layout with that, it just it did something else to me. So it was like those two elements of hip hop, inspired me, seeing Curtis Blow and Jam Master Jay, do their thing, and seeing that Russell Simmons had part of both of that stuff, it was just like, wow, this is the business, you know what I'm saying? So that was, one of the first chambers of me really liking hip hop,
And also, as well, growing up in Detroit, man, must have been phenomenal, because like that they have such a rich, like Michigan and alone has such a rich like hip hop culture, man. You know what I mean? Like from the beginning right until now, man, the culture is just so rich out there in the 313.
Yes, it was like coming up, like being around Motown era, and that whole environment, and hearing Tina Marie and Rick James, all that stuff. It was like that was like hip hop to us in a little ways. The disco element, hearing Shaka Khan and all that stuff, with Millie Mel and all that stuff. It was just like it all came hand to hand. The disco, Motown, and we came up in my neighborhood on Puritan Avenue. It was one day, Ray Parker Jr. came up on the block, and things like that. That was a time when the breakdancing movies was out. You know what I'm saying? And just to see that, and just hear my parents talk about Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye used to be in the hood and things like that. It's something. You know what I'm saying? It all added to hip hop.
And also, as well, man, at the age of 14, you were actually the DJ for the hip hop group Sudden Death. I was wondering, how did yourself and Sudden Strength actually get connected? And of course, like, what was it like just being with that group at such a young age?
Well, it was like it was an escapism. Just coming up in Highland Park, Michigan, with my friends. We admired the music business. And just watching Rakim and all that stuff, it was just like our ways of kind of imitating that. And Highland Park was so small. If you look at the old Donald Goines books, he used to talk about Highland Park. And back then at that age, we were doing shows like a lot, like state fairs and Latin quarters. Me and my crew, and until we start getting equipment, things like that. Once I started getting equipment, our lead singer got killed. It was a wild time coming up. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so much coming at us so young. 13, 12 years old, 13. You know about drugs and murder and guns and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like. It was coming up so fast, and it was like hip hop was an escapism. It was like we had to grab onto something. It was just that was our way of expressing ourselves legally. You know what I'm saying?
And I gotta ask as well, because like I do know obviously like sometimes within hip hop or any music genre that is, sometimes at a young age they kind of treat you a little differently. Like were they kind of skeptical of your like skills being so young, or or did they welcome you into that group like with open arms?
Well, coming up, it was like the lead singer, Illy Ill. He pretty much tested me, like, when I first got there. He was like, "Who are you?" And I stuck out because I'm, dressed different, this type of thing, just a little nerdier, you know what I'm saying? And, light skinned and things like that. So, my crew, they checked me when I got there, you know what I'm saying? It was like, it was just a balance. It was like, we had a fight, on the playground, and he kind of like, yo, I like you, this type of thing. So, and I just dragged along with the crew, it was like, I'm the DJ, okay, cool. And he said, nah, you gotta learn how to DJ. You watch Jam Master Jay, that's how Elliot was with me. He said, yo, come to my grandma's house and let me show you how to scratch on my grandma's church radio. And he was showing me how to scratch on the church radio. So he was laying his own cuts with his own music, but showing me how to do it. And until eventually I started scratching on some of the records, and then he passed away at 15. So it was like, after that, it was like, let me hold on to the culture through with still being a DJ, and if my friends are still inspired, I'm going to still do my thing, it was just that time,
And also, as well, in 1999, you actually became D-12's very first DJ. I was wondering, how did yourself and D-12 initially get connected? And of course, what was it like working with them? Because in 1999, man, like that D-12 was just on the rise, man. They were blowing up very fast.
Well, actually, one of the managers from D-12, we shared the same friend that passed away at 15. So his name is Mark Hicks. So we came up together, and he was actually managing Proof after our best friend passed away. So he started managing Proof like when I was in high school. So Proof came around me and was like, "Yo, I heard your friend passed away, and I'm gonna show you where the hip hop spots is at." And this is like maybe 91, So everything kind of sprung from that. Like, wherever Proof went, I went, and wherever studios I was at, he'd come to, or he'd be there engineering, or the hip hop spots that we make sure we give each other plays. So that type of thing. He was always kind of like the nucleus of saying, yo, brother, if I got, you got. If I'm going through this door, I'm going to show you what's going on, in a lot of ways. So he did that for a lot of people. So me being a DJ early around him, I started recording early around Proof and getting drops from Eminem in the 90s and things like that. So when it was time for them to basically start being together as a group, they pretty much formulated in front of us. It's like it wasn't really solid. Well, at the time when I was DJing, it was just still in the making. Where we went to the Scribble Jam, and I spent for those guys there, and I was just kind of making my bones with them. You know what I'm saying? Like showing what I can do. And what I've learned from that, it was like, go to the studio. This road life is there, but it's like, it's not promising. But just take these guys to the studio, to where you can get some documentation on recording them, filming them, and really pay them. So, like in '99, that's when I was able to, record Bugs and all that stuff, and put Kill the DJ out with those guys featured on those projects. Proof was on there with Bugs. It was a rare song that they done together. Just offsprings of the group. Bizarre was on there. Denon was on there. So it was just an empowering thing. Just coming up, just watching Clue and Ron G, those mixtapes, and getting those mixtapes early, like, to find my niche in the game was that. I was doing the Khaled thing in my own way,
And
a long time ago. You know what I'm saying?
And I gotta ask as well, when you actually brought up Bugs a few moments ago, a lot of individuals, they've heard of Bugs, but they don't really know very much about him because unfortunately he passed away so early on during the group's start. If you don't mind me asking, would you be able to tell our listeners a bit more about Bugs? Like, what was he like in the studio, and of course as a person? That way the D-12 fans that are listening can really actually like kind of wrap their head around what Bugs really was like.
I mean, he was just loyal. I mean, he was, he was that type of guy, I'm with you. I eat what you eat. We ride together. He was that type of guy. He was, just looking for an outlet with his talent. I mean, when we did Act the Fool on my album, Kill the DJ, he was in there in and out. And it was like, I mean, he was actually recording, like, jumping up and down, when we got to the hook, he was just amped. It was one of those moments where I wish I would have filmed it, you know what I'm saying? Because he was, in the proof, was so proud of it,
And I remember as well that your record label, Crazy Noise Productions, actually put out the One Man Mob mixtape, I believe in like 2004 Criteria, which was Bugs' mixtape, and I gotta say it was absolutely phenomenal from start to finish.
Thank you. We talked about doing a mixtape before he passed away, and I just wanted to get that to the world. I had a picture with Bugs, that I put the D-12 logo on his shirt. I just wanted to, put that in the world. Let people not forget about him. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you Wikipedia Buzz, it's a picture I took. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I just didn't want him to go unnoticed. He was looking to go on tour with D-12, and he was left behind, and it was just that summer moment where we were all kind of bored. It was like, let's stay creative. I'm getting busy. D-12 getting busy. Let's stay moving. Harsh getting busy. Everybody was working. You know what I'm saying?
And also, as well, as I brought up a few moments ago about Crazy Noise Productions, I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about your label, and of course, who is actually currently signed to you today, if that label is still going on.
Well, actually, it's a label I started in high school. I released about 8 projects on myself on there. I got Wesley Valentine. I just released a project with my guy TKO, Joey Bishop. It's called Music from the Mind. I just helped Quiet Money with his project. It's out right now. It's called Give 'Em Hell. So I really kind of like use it as a tool to kind of mentor artists and throw parties and things like that to push my brand that way. I've been throwing a lot of Dilla Day parties, and in memory of Jay Dilla for the last 8 years almost. Helping those guys out with that stuff, and just pushing my own brand. It's just the art of having our own. I don't want to die and my stuff is just lingering around. I want to have my own shit in one box. You know what I'm saying? In one stash, not to curse them and then they curse, but just the all in one stash to say, yo, this is my family's and this is my own. So I really thought about that after my best friend and my rap buddy passed away. Like, it was, I don't know if it was anxiety or PTSD. It was just like, get something. Because you're about to be 18 in a minute. That type of thing,
And also, in 1999, you actually released your first major project titled Kill the DJ, which is my personal favorite project that you actually put out. And I was always wondering, What's the story and inspiration behind that phenomenal project? Because that's one record I had when I was younger, man, that I couldn't put down, man. That, like, it was such an inspirational and such a powerful record.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, you're giving me chills talking about it. Because at that time, it was like hip hop was making it like a transition, 99, 2000. You know, and it was at that time it was like the Cheddar Boys and the Street Lords and all these guys. Slum Village was even making a lot more noise in the pinnacle of 2000 when Dilla was alive. And so the project was like Kill the DJ. It was like to let the world know that the DJs need to support these guys that's on my project. You know, it was just giving them, making a statement of like, yo, this is my own radio station, you know, and here, these are guys you should be playing. It was Royce the 5'9" was on there, Chris Webber group, from, you know, the NBA, Chris Webber, you know, a Hall of Famer. He had a group called No Coast. They were on there. Bizarre had a solo effort. You know, we grew up together in Oak Park, and I felt hard to kind of get those guys a platform when the distributors pretty much was giving me a hard time, you know, because they didn't know who. All they knew was Eminem on my playlist. You know what I'm saying? It was like, who were the rest of you guys? And No Coast, who was Proof and Bugs, and you know, it was just that type of thing. So it was affecting my personal life, like financially, because I put so much money into it. You know what I'm saying? But we kept going. You know, because it was all new. You know, it wasn't nothing like the, you know, back then it was like the Cheddar Boys was putting like E40 and MC Breed and Yuck Mouth and all these guys on their project. It was like big project for our city. But the distributors see me and they said, Slum Village. You know, who was these guys? Who was No Coast? This was before the new millennium, you know?
And also as well, sorry about that, Butter. My apologies.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say as well, actually, I remember in 2004, you actually dropped a project with Royce the 5'9". I believe you were hosting it, and it was called Defending the Crown Part 2, Kiss the Ring. And I was always wondering, like, how did yourself and Royce get connected? And, of course, what was it like just doing that project with him? Because I remember that back in the day, that was a hot mix, man. I think it was like 20 to 22 tracks on that record.
Yeah, he actually called me in the midst of the back and forth with Eminem and D-12, and you know, because at the time when I did my album, Shit Happens, that's when the diss records was coming out, things like that. So we pretty much grew up together. I mean, him and his brother Greg, that, you know, we grew up together, you know. So I've been on like a platform for DJing, you know, and an outlet for a long time. So he called me like, yo, I'm working on Deaf and Certain. You know, I want to do some mixtapes. I want to throw you some songs to premiere. That type of thing. You know, it was a pretty dark time for Royce at that time. You know what I'm saying? So that was my thing, is just to uplift, you know, just the culture, like, and to show them, like, yo, I'm here, like, you know, this type of thing, because it was so much going on, you know, it was the communication was, it wasn't like Emma was putting all these guys in one room and saying, yo, you know, we all got to do this. It was a lot of phone call action and three-way phone calls and put me in the midst of songs, and it's like, yo, so Royce kind of blessed me with promoting the mixtape of his, you know.
And I gotta say as well, I remember when I forget what track number it was because it's been so long, but I remember the 105.9 Detroit Freestyle, man. I remember hearing that when I was a kid, man, and I'm not gonna lie, my jaw dropped, man. Just the way he spits on that freestyle, man, is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it's just, I make sure no matter what, I make sure I buy Royce's albums every time they come out, you know.
And also, as well, jumping ahead in the timeline, man, February 5th of 2019, you actually dropped another phenomenal record that is actually one of your newest releases. Because I know you stay busy, man. I gotta admit, DJ Butter, you stay busy, man. So you're consistently dropping heat. But I remember this one's actually called Eat or Get Ate. And I gotta ask you, man, can you tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal project? And of course, where can we actually snag ourselves some copies today?
Yeah, it's actually distributed by LongRangeDistribution.com. It's on Bandcamp now, Spotify. It's featuring Cool Keith is on there, Super MC, Guilty Simpson, Kid Vicious, Nolan and Ninjas, a new guy out of Detroit. It's a mesh of things. I got Cocaine from the West Coast, my partner Eddie Stubbles from Puritan, the Outfit. So what I really, this concept of is just like, it's just back to the Kill the DJ thing. It's like, it's just telling the community, it's like, yo, it's time for us to build, or it's going to get hard for us, it's time for us to take over, what we need to do, and I'm going to present it in my own way. And it's like a lot of times I go out of town, they say, yo, Detroit got a lot of the hip-hop force there. So, and I'm just trying to, put that platform out to my friends and say, yo, it's time for us to eat or get ate, either with our age or just running behind what the perception is of who runs Detroit hip-hop, or only one group can run Detroit hip-hop, or one clique or one clan. And that's all I've been trying to do. My whole thing has always been about empowerment and putting hope in the hopeless, with the community there,
And also, as well, I actually saw that you have a new project coming out titled Good Dope Sells Itself. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners, what can we expect when this project actually drops to the general public? And of course, what is the estimated release date as well?
We plan on dropping it real soon. Actually, it's a paying homage to Pace One. I mean, we in Detroit, when they used to visit, when Proof was around and visit D-12 in the earlier stages, and those guys kind of gave us hope to kind of be around guys that got record deals and things like that. So, they kind of sprung off of Eminem and Bizarre and all those guys. And me as a DJ, just knowing that they knew Proof and knowing they knew where the hip-hop shop was. And at that time, Eminem used to give me songs to play on my mixtape. So this is way before all this stuff kind of happened. So I'm just paying homage to Pace One, and me and DJ King David is collaborating on a project to kind of just push that unity and give him his flowers. I mean, we fighting to get some good hip hop in the world. We got a DJ anthem on there to the DJs, and we got a Ludacris family of Four Eyes is on the project. We got some other special stuff coming. Even Bizarre is on the project after so long of us not working together. So, we just bringing the unity back,
And I gotta say as well, it sounds like an absolute phenomenal project. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure you keep your eyes peeled, because DJ Brother is most definitely gonna melt your speakers and your headphones. It's coming, man.
Yes, indeed.
But I gotta ask you, man, other than this brand new project, man, I gotta ask you, what is next for DJ Butter? Because like I said, you are most definitely dropping consistent heat, not like non-stop, man. So I can't even imagine what is coming next after this record. But I have to ask you, like, what is next? Is there anything I happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you want to still want to talk about or promote when we stop you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
Well, I got a couple films coming out, some documentary stuff with Ramo Visions. I'm working all my beats, just showing the world of my production skills. You know, me and Ron Mo got a documentary coming out about myself. You know, some studio moments I had in the studio with D-12 and Denine Porter and all these guys that want to see me as a producer. I got actual footage of those times from 20 years ago. I was doing Shit Can Happen. And, you know, all that stuff, you know, that people need to see. You know, people that question a lot of stuff. Stuff I done with Bodie James is out right now. I got some new stuff that's coming as well with him. So just stay tuned. I'm here to keep the culture alive. We working on a festival now for the city. And I want to kind of bring, you know, Benny the Butcher and those guys to the city and mix that stuff up with the locals I've been working with, you know. So that's what I'm kind of working on now.
And also, Butter, this is the time in the interview, man, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything DJ Butter if they're not already doing so.
I'm at I am DJ Butter. I am DJ Butter, regular spell Butter, B-U-T-T-E-R, at Crazy Noise Productions, with an S, on Instagram, Facebook, DJ Butter 313, it's DJ Butter on Facebook as well, and you can, you know, just Google me, you know, you see my music that's out. Me and DJ Dez is working on something brand new. We got an album out called A Piece of Action that's out now. You know, and we're working on part 2 right now. So, you know, just check me out on Instagram on djbutter.com. We upgrade my web store now. I'm going to put all my projects up there soon where you can buy CDs and tapes and vinyl. So we just prepping the world and making the best of after this world disaster stuff, you know. That's it.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, before we part ways there, DJ Butter, I gotta say, man, thank you for years of amazing music, man. I gotta say, your music most definitely inspired millions upon millions of listeners worldwide, and I gotta say, your music most definitely helped me through a lot of difficult times as well. So I just gotta say, thank you for your contribution to hip-hop, and of course, all of our listening ears worldwide, man. We most definitely appreciate yourself and the music that you provided to us for all these years.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. Thank you.
You are most certainly welcome, DJ Butter, and I gotta say thank you for also giving us a little bit of your time this evening. But I do want to say, I hope you have yourself a wonderful night out there in Michigan, man, and hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon.
Yeah, let's do it. I want to shout out my wife, and I want to say rest in peace to Illy Ill once again. That's all. You know?
And I gotta most definitely agree, man. Rest in paradise. Gone, but most definitely never forgotten.
Yes. Thank you. I thank you for the opportunity.
You are most certainly welcome, DJ Butter. Thank you so much again, and most definitely have yourself a wonderful night.
All right, y'all take care.